And welcome back to the Big Lab podcast. In this episode, I speak to Layla. We speak all about how she moved from being a radiographer to a Gymshark athlete and social media influencer and full-time YouTuber. If you enjoyed this one, make sure you drop a like. If you're new, subscribe, and I'll let you get on with the episode. Layla, welcome to the Big Lab podcast. How are we doing?
Hello, I'm all good. How's things?
Not too bad. We're going for round 2 here, so hopefully this one's a bit more successful than the last time.
A little bit of technical difficulties.
Yeah, you're always going to get that. But I can see on the side here you're already uploading faster than mine is, so that's a good start. So, would you like to give yourself a little bit of an introduction as to who you are and what you do?
Okay, yeah. So I'm Layla. I am a content creator. Well, like new found content creator online on Instagram and YouTube. And I love to create foodie, fitness style content.
Very well put. So, first of all, going back to before you were a content creator, you were a diagnostic radiographer?
Yeah, that's right. So I was a full-time diagnostic radiographer for the NHS, and I did that for 3 years in an NHS hospital after studying for 3 years in Cardiff University.
So you started that at 21, straight out of uni then?
Yeah, so I was fresh off the boat, and I went straight into one of the largest London hospitals, and it was a really scary experience, but very rewarding, and I learned so much from it. So I was glad that I went through that process.
So what was it that got you into that sort of area of work in the first place?
So my mum was actually a diagnostic radiographer assistant, and I did an experience day at one of her hospitals, and I really liked it. And it was a bit of an unusual job to go from straight to A levels to uni and then to the job, because nobody really understood what radiography was without actually explaining it, or if they've been through the X-ray process themselves. And I kind of liked that about it, because it was a kind of like different route to take in life. Although it's a pretty known job, it's just a cool job to say that you're a diagnostic radiographer. People often go, oh, what's that?
So what degree did you do at uni then to get into radiography?
Yeah, so it was pretty self-explanatory. The degree was diagnostic radiography and imaging.
Ah, right, so it makes sense then.
And you go straight into diagnostic radiography and imaging.
Okay, and you started your social media alongside this, I assume?
Yeah, so I did start my social media, I'd say properly in my first year of uni. But it wasn't like a full-time thing then. Obviously, it wasn't even a part-time thing. It was more of a hobby. And I don't think influencers was a thing, really. We had YouTubers, but like, I guess they're influencers, but on Instagram it wasn't really a thing where you could make it a full-time job, unless I was unaware of that, at least. Anyways, it was more just like posting my food style content and posting my new fitness style content, because I was just getting into the gym, because Cardiff University in particular was very like heavy on sports and nutrition as well.
So we're talking 18 then. So what year was this then, if you're saying that sort of influencing on Instagram wasn't really a thing?
So I think that was 2000, between 2016 2017. I think
Okay.
actually, yeah, actually I remember there was Gymshark athletes, which technically that's an influencer, but I feel like was unaware that you could actually make a living out of it. That's what
It
I'm
was
trying to
still
say.
sort of early days, wasn't it,
Very
around
early,
that
yeah,
time?
yeah,
So you obviously then built your social media following up over the following years
yeah.
to the point where you're now doing it full time. What was the sort of, was that always the plan, or was it just because it grew to a certain size and potential income? Like what was the plan?
Yeah, so I was doing my radiography job, like I said, for 3 years, and it's my third year coming to the end of 2021 it was, and I was thinking about like, do I actually enjoy my job? And I did at the time, and I was just thinking, but what if I could do what I do part time, full time? And I thought I might as well just take the risk and risk it, because at that moment I was like really enjoying what I was doing on Instagram and YouTube, and I was growing and growing and growing, and I thought it would be like a good route to take, and I mean, I say I thought, but it is a great route that I took, and I don't regret it at all. Um, and yeah, it was around like November. I gave him my notice, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to do it full time." and then just took the opportunity. It just so happened that a certain sponsorship came to me at the same time, which was the Gymshark sponsorship, and that led me to do well last year in particular, because I've only been doing it for a year.
So most people look for like a certain trigger point where your income from your side hustle matches your sort of day job. Was it a
Yeah.
similar thing, or was it weren't quite earning the same as what you were earning as a radiographer, but you saw the opportunity for it to keep growing and then potentially bridge that gap?
Yeah, so actually, as a radiographer, it's really sad. And yeah, you don't really get paid as much as they do. And my Instagram kind of income was definitely earning more than my
Right.
radiography job. But I won't say that's what made me tick and think, oh, let me do it just to earn more money and stuff like that. Because if I had the choice, really, I would have still carried on with radiography and do it alongside. But it then becomes unmanageable. I think what
Yeah.
actually made it tick was the fact that it started to become unmanageable for
Right.
me. I was posting all this content every day and 3 times on YouTube, as well as doing 12-hour shifts at my hospital as well. So I was like, I'm going to be eventually burnt out. And I kept being in denial about it, saying like I would never feel burnt out because I'm just an energetic person, anyways. But I just think I came to the understanding where I need to choose between them, and
Yeah.
I just chose this. Oh,
3 YouTube videos a week is some
yeah.
doing. Like I struggle to get one a week most of the time. And yeah, there's a lot of effort that goes into those videos, especially with editing. So I imagine obviously like quitting the day job frees up so much more time to actually do that and make it more manageable. And then I guess you can put even more time into better content creation, better videos and things like that.
Yeah, 100%. So when I was posting these 3 episodes, they were decent editing. Like it was just me kind of editing and then throwing the video out there. And actually, people communicated to me that they really liked my editing and stuff like that. Luckily enough, I was quite tech whizzy and I was always editing quite fast. And I liked kind of computers and that, anyways. Um, but I found that after I quit my job and I did have so much more flexibility and free time, I improved the quality of my editing. And rather than producing quantity, I did produce more quality. And then the feedback started to come in again. Oh, your editing style has gotten better. And I really enjoyed that people gave me that feedback, because it went to show that I spent more time like focusing on editing rather than just producing all the quantity of videos.
Yeah, I think that's like a natural progression
Yeah,
of being on social media. So, like at the start, you do just need to get quantity out there, don't you? So it
yeah,
sees as many people, and then over time, the bigger you're following, the more quality you can put into it and less videos. Like especially if you look at my Instagram, I've had that from the start of 2018.
yeah.
My editing was questionable at times.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's me as well. I often go back to last week or the week before that. And like, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
Ending thing where you judge yourself, criticize your work. But that's in anything in life, isn't it? You criticize and reflect, but then that shows that you're growing and you're learning and developing. So that's good. It's a positive thing.
Definitely. So you mentioned earlier on about your content being around food, and I think quite a lot was to do your weight gain journey as well.
Yes.
Did that was there a trigger in that? Because I remember you posting a while ago, and actually I think you've posted this week about your journey from where you were to where you are now, and it is a massive change. Well done for it.
Thank you. um, It was, yeah, for me, it was like a massive turning point. And there was no set turning point. Like, it wasn't like a set thing. And then from then on, I had a like exponential growth into gaining weight. It was a bit more of like a bumpy ride on the journey, but
Right.
it wasn't smooth, but I tried to focus on it as much as I can to kind of like develop my mindset and change my mindset into kind of like a stronger mindset, because I did have like quite a weak mental health towards food and fitness, and I did suffer from eating disorder and struggled with eating a lot because of this idea of being a fitspo. And me doing Instagram, I thought I had a pressure to stay lean because that's what I thought people admired, and then if I wasn't lean, people would lose interest in me. That was ingrained in my head. And then anything that I did, I just focused and spent all my time on staying lean like a lean bean. Even in my workplace, people would call
Right.
me crazy because I would do around 30,000, 35K steps a day. On top of that, I was
Wow.
doing 6 times a week in the gym. Even lockdown, I made my room into a gym alongside my bedroom just so that I could hit my 6 times a week. I was cycling to and from work as well. So you can see that I was really
That's a lot,
overtraining.
yeah.
And at the same time, I was under eating.
Yeah.
And then the two really compensated my health, ironically, because I thought I was more healthier, but obviously not.
So was there ever like a trigger point? Did you actually get like diagnosed with an eating disorder, and that's what sort of triggered that you needed to actually change the way you were working out and how much exercise and food that you were eating?
So my journey really started in 2016, where initially as a teenager, I lost loads of weight, and that was really instant. And people were worried, including my mum and dads, and they thought something it
Right.
was for me. But it's because I stopped eating, and then also I was doing loads of running at that time. I didn't really wasn't into the gym. I was more of like fitness blender, blogger and running. That was what I was doing, and I was getting very small and small and small. And so my mum took me to a consultant, and he kind of like said, "There's an issue with your eating," and he didn't really diagnose it because I don't think you have to be diagnosed to be having an eating disorder.
Yeah.
But he was more like, you need to change your food, you need to eat more, you need to eat more fish, all these random stuff. And I don't think doctors are actually the best people to advise things. They need to be more like specialists. So I didn't
Yeah.
go to see a specialist because I was such a stubborn child. I just kept saying to my mum and dad, I know what I'm doing, I want to be like this, leave me alone. And as a young like girl who was like driven by the media, because obviously everything was really influenced by the media, I just had my set idea of being small. It was then after a little while I gained weight naturally, because then I started to be 18 and my friends were inviting me to parties and stuff, and I kind of let myself go, whatever that means.
Yeah.
And then uni, that's when it hit again, that I started to drop weight and weight and weight, and I went into that toxic cycle of never ending losing weight. Um, and then I think around 2020, that's when I started to gain weight. So from 2016 to 2020, 4 years, I had an eating disorder,
Yeah.
and wouldn't say like it instantly went away. It was then from a journey from 2020 to 2023 now to kind of develop from that.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't think like with anything, progress is never linear, is it? As
no,
much
yeah,
as we'd like it to be, there's always sort of stumbles along the way. And when I was doing my research actually for this episode, I came across, we're going way back now, to the MyProtein 10 million event that was in Manchester.
yeah. I remember
Uh,
that.
and I was there. I didn't really know anyone at the time because, like, obviously we both work for MyProtein, but I've only been with them for 2.5 ish years. So I was probably just before I was actually taken on. But I remember just walking around. And I think I remember seeing you from, like, it triggered a memory from looking at the photos,
Yeah,
and the difference from then and now is like
yeah.
night and day. And I think you post, like I was saying before, you posted that on one of your reels, um, on your journey from that point. So I imagine that was around the time that you actually started that weight gain journey, and then to now, like you say, you're still going through that.
Yeah, so 2019, I didn't really have the idea of, I was still actually wanting to lose weight, because what it was with me, and what it is like with most girls with an eating disorder, or guys in particular, you never see that you are actually losing weight. You always think that you are big. And it's strange. You look at
Yeah,
yourself in the mirror and you don't realize how much weight you lose. When I look at it now, I posted that reel yesterday, which I think you're referring to. I look at it and I don't even recognize myself. And I'm like,
yeah,
oh my God, like, I don't know. Because I remember thinking at that point of time that I needed to lose more weight. But
yeah.
obviously, you can
But if you
see,
look back, you're so small compared
oh
to
my
now. With
God.
all respect, by the way,
Yeah,
you are, yeah, so small compared to what you've got to now, which
yeah,
is
there was
an
nothing of
amazing
me.
transformation.
Yeah. I was literally skin and
Yeah,
bone.
but I imagine you're feeling a lot better for going through that now.
Yes, 100%. It's more than just the weight gain as well.
Yeah,
Like you get to live more, which is crazy, because for me, because your head is so focused on food and exercise all the time, you don't think of anything else. But I have had to learn to actually socialize, And I have a nice tight circle of friends that have supported me through it and kind of understood that I had to learn how to socialize, which I know sounds a little bit silly, but I had to learn to let go a little bit, like with parties and alcohol and food. I had to learn to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Although for me it was such a struggle and I didn't really get enjoyment from it, but it's something that should be enjoyed because it's just part of life.
Yeah, like I say, it's a learning process, isn't it? It's not going to just happen overnight. It's something that you've got constantly got to work on if it's been an issue in the past. So, are there still any things that you come over now, even now, like towards, I mean, I guess towards the back end of that journey where you're more comfortable where you are? Is there anything that you struggle with on a regular basis and you've got sort of coping mechanisms to deal with them now, or
Yeah,
what?
so
Yeah,
yeah, I don't actually no, yeah, I could 100% say that I am fully recovered from it. Like I will often just reflect. I will look back and I think, "Oh my gosh, I used to not be able to think that I can just eat this pastry so freely and not care about the rest of the day kind of thing. I can just have a croissant or a cake or whatever really I feared eating back then. I could just enjoy it and get on with my day rather than it suffocating me and my mindset. I would literally eat the food if it was given to me, or I'd be scared of eating the croissant, let's just say, and it would consume my whole thought throughout the day, throughout the week, throughout the month. And it was like, oh my God, I ate a croissant. Oh my God, I ate a croissant. And then I would have to overcompensate exercise, and it was just an endless cycle, whereas now I can just like enjoy it and forget about it. But yeah, I wouldn't say there's any thoughts that come into my head. I would just think sometimes I would just reflect back on what I used to think and think, wow, look what I've done. I've kind of
yeah,
changed my mindset and just, yeah. But I would say to anyone that is like suffering through it, you would always just have to, when I was going through it, what I was doing was challenging those thoughts. So I would eat it and then would go, it's okay. I don't need to worry about it. And then would just eat it and carry on with the rest of my day. So it was, I would just have to challenge those.
remind yourself sort of things like what the benefit is of actually
Yeah.
being able to do those things.
Yeah.
Well, that's obviously a massive mental shift. And unfortunately, what you see on social media these days, especially towards women, I feel with like the whole weight gain journeys and things like that, is online hate. And I see a lot of it, especially on apps like TikTok more than Instagram, maybe, because you see a lot of people replying to it more than anything. Have you ever came across any online hate throughout your sort of social media presence?
I've never really encountered any hate from my journey, and I think the sad thing is that it's because I kind of have still, admittedly, this kind of ideal fitness style body. Although that's not what I am achieving, I'm purely just living my life and eating what I want to eat and stuff like that. I am on a bulk and that stuff, but that's because I want to be physically strong. Sorry, as in like physically strong rather
Yeah,
than appearance wise kind of thing, because that's just a goal of mine rather than the aesthetics. But what I would say is that people just target, I know this is a bit TMI, but people just target my boobs all the time, and
right.
they say that I've got a boob job, and I'm like,
I'm
no.
sure I've seen you post about all this. Yeah.
Oh my God, I get attacked by that a lot of the time. I had one on my post the other day, and she was like, great boob job. And I was like, no, I could never think to do that. No hate for the girls that have preference for that, but for me, no.
But the
It
thing
just
I don't
makes,
get is that, like, even if that was the case, then why do you feel the need to comment it?
I
Um,
know, like people like to pick on people's physical appearance, and it's so sad online. It's part of the process, and you kind of
yeah,
sign up to it as soon as you share things online, but it doesn't give people the right to kind of be nasty about it. I think it's okay to have opinions,
yeah,
and there's ways of saying things, but if you're going to cross the line, it's a little bit out of order.
yeah, exactly. I think as well, to be fair, I don't think I've ever had any sort of hate. I mean, I've got nowhere near the presence that you have on social media. Um, and at one point, I thought I was doing something wrong because everyone seemed to get it, and I was like, why aren't I getting any? Not that I want it, but
No, I tell you
yeah.
something actually. So there is this website called. I'll keep it brief. There is this website called Tattoo Life. I don't know if
Oh,
you've
I
heard.
ended up on that actually.
Really? Oh
Y-
my gosh! No way.
Yeah.
Did
Uh,
you?
I posted a video of, so I did a bit of work with, Grace Beverly, Grace Fit UK,
Yeah,
with the
yeah.
resistance bands.
Okay.
And then I posted a video on YouTube about why I was no longer working with them, and it was like it was quite a big video. It's
Yeah.
my most watch one. It's got quite a few thousand views, to be fair, and that got put all over this tattle. And I was like, someone
Oh,
sent it me. I was like, hold on, what?
I know.
Yeah,
It's shocking. So someone had sent it to me, and then I put it on my story because I just address everything. I address everything in my
yeah.
life. I don't really hide anything. And I shared this on my stories, and as soon as I shared it, they started commenting on it again. I was like, this is a live hater. I just think, how sad do you have to be to actually spread hate? I just think it's so sad. There's obviously something
Honestly.
in them, and they're taking their insecurities out on others. So I wouldn't let it get to you at all.
Oh no, I didn't. I actually found it quite funny. I kept refreshing it to see what people were saying, and then
Entertaining.
I had similar on my YouTube video though, but then people started arguing amongst each other and against each other, and I was like, "Oh my god, what is going on?" Like, I literally just posted a video as to why I wasn't working for them. I mean, at the time, other people posted similar stuff because we all just stopped working with them, and it did blow up a little bit. And yeah, it was just funny times. But like you say, it's people taking the time out of their day to comment on stuff that's not really that important.
Yeah, I know it's really quite petty, but if they've got nothing else to do in the day,
I know,
can't really blame them.
unfortunately.
We're lucky enough to not let it get to us.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So you mentioned before that in November 21 you were going full time with your social media, and you just happened to at the same time Gymshark approached you.
Yes.
How did that happen? Like, what's the process of that happening?
Yeah, so it was quite a funky and cool process, and even I was really shocked about it. And I did attend loads of like influencer events at the time, and when I was telling people, they were like, I wouldn't be too sure. Like Gymshark like to develop a relationship with you first before just jumping straight into an athlete." So I
Right.
was kind of getting that information and feeling like, okay, yeah, maybe I'm not actually going to be an athlete, but it turns out that I was. So what happened initially was I went to a Gymshark event that I actually wasn't invited to. It was a girl called Linda Sun invited me to another Gymshark athletes event, and I attended it, and I'd been approached by one of the sponsorship managers, and he was so lovely and said that his girlfriend watches my videos. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so lovely. I didn't even know if he knew who I was. And he introduced me to the other athletes. And after that day, which was a great event, he said, let's jump on a phone call. So we jumped on a phone call, and at the end of the phone call, it was basically like an interview as well. It was like, what would you offer to Gymshark? And I was like, I didn't even know this was going to be a
Cool
question.
content.
Yeah, when you prepare for an interview, I was like, you write little notes and stuff in your
Yeah.
notes. I was like, I'm vegan and I'm short. And I kind of laughed at that. And I don't know, I was a little bit just myself on the call. He liked me, I guess, and invited me to the HQ. Still, then, when I was going to the HQ, I was like, I have no idea what the outcome is going to be. And they weren't even hinting anything. But part of me was like, oh my God, am I going to become one of their athletes? And they toured me around the whole of HQ, and they would kind of introduce me, this is what you'll be doing if you are blah, blah, blah. And he was like, this is where you'll be working out, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the tour, he was like, giving me this deep speech. And I was like, nearly sobbing, and tears were coming to my eyes. And he was like, would you like to become one of our next Gymshark athletes? And I was like, yes. I
You're
was
never
like,
going
so
to say no, are you?
and I gave him a hug and everything like that. It was really nice. And actually, he is part of the old sponsorship manager teams, which a lot of them had been made redundant now just because of business things, which is not my expertise, but that's them. And now there's a whole different entire team, which clearly we didn't have a good relationship.
No.
Yeah,
So we actually met each other, didn't we, at the Gymshark event in Manchester
we did.
about a month ago now, is it probably?
Yeah.
And at the time, you were still with Gymshark, and not too long after, you were unfortunately let go. Now, I'll let you sort of open up as much as you would like about that
Okay.
topic.
Yeah. Like, so without like, yeah, I was never offensive to the brand. I still remain like being, as nice as I am to them. Like, I was never really dissing them in any way. Even in my video that I did in my Q&A, I kind of respectfully said what had happened, and I was only just telling the truth, to be honest.
Yeah, I
Um,
did watch that actually.
Yeah, I was literally just saying how I experienced it, what had happened, just for people to understand, because I think people deserve to understand when I get questions on it, like, why you're not a Gymshark athlete. I wanted to give them an answer. I can't just say we didn't see eye to eye, because that's not the truth. And I honestly tell the truth in everything that I do. Um, but how it went was I initially made a video, which wasn't this video that I posted. I sent it to the team, and they kind of were hinting, and I read around the room that they didn't approve of this video. So, respectively, I chose not to post this particular video because I didn't want it to come that I was disrespecting them. And I have no
Yeah.
disrespect for them at all. It's literally just a business decision at the end of the day. And whether I agree with their marketing or not is a different question. It kind of is in my comment section. I'm sure other people disagree with their marketing system, but that's business type thing that I am not with. But yeah, after that, they had said kind of not to post it, so I didn't. Instead, I posted this Q&A and gave a very brief outline. And like I was saying, it's kind of in the comment section. People kind of sussed exactly what was said out just from their own delivery of information online, on their Instagram
Yeah.
page, in what they share, in who is on the team and stuff like that. So I think it was very obvious in which new direction they want to go in and why I no longer fit into that new direction, which is what they said to me.
Yeah, the shift is more towards actual athletes, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
Although I have to say, like, they're not all athletes on the team,
yeah.
but they do have their favorites, which is like in any job role. So I can't really say anything
Yeah.
about that. They had their favorites, and they kept on people that they enjoy most, or from business perspective are getting more sales. And I have no argument towards that. However, I would say that I wish they dealt with it in a different way, and some words weren't said how they particularly said it. And if they had just said to me that I wasn't making enough sales, I would have been happy as Larry, and I wouldn't have been
Yeah.
as offended as kind of how it went.
To be fair, though, that's not the first time I've heard about Gymshark not really going the right way about dealing with things. I've heard
Yeah.
a few things in the past with similar. I think they've had a bit of a clear out of ambassadors and athletes in the past, haven't they? And it's not really gone too well on social media.
Yeah. So actually, I mean, a bit of dirt. I was contacted by many other athletes after that, and I did get in contact with other athletes as well that have also been dismissed by Gymshark. And everything that I was saying, they were saying too. At first, I thought I was completely delusional, and I wanted to kind of agree with what they were saying because they are a big brand and they do make you feel a little bit worthless after they dismiss you,
Right.
because you're so passionate about a certain brand that you work with, especially as a content creator. You get to wear their stuff, you get to know the team, and you get to enjoy the whole process of being with them. And then, kind of like, if they decide to not work with you anymore, it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. When you've
am I
put so much
worth?
effort into
Yeah, is my time
content.
worth it and stuff like that? But their new direction is a bit of a funny one. And the people that contacted me after watching my video were like, damn, they're really doing that. So I will not name any names.
No, I don't expect you to. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But one thing that I've always been curious about, because you always used to see rumors on like YouTube and stuff. In the contracts, do they
Yeah.
say anything about? Because it's always been across the internet. So I was just wondering if you knew. In the
Yeah.
contracts, does it say anything about speaking openly about taking steroids and stuff like that, or is that just a myth?
Oh, do you know what? I'm really guilty when I sign these brand
You
deals and
just
stuff.
you just signed it.
Contracts, I just sign it. That is really bad. I assume everything's going to be a-okay. But the
Yeah,
one athlete that had been dismissed by Gymshark had actually told me, you should probably check the contract and what it says about talking about them after you've been dismissed. And I was like, oh
yeah,
yeah,
probably.
because they could have sued me, but I haven't said anything like derogatory. Is that the
No,
word? Um,
derogatory.
that's the one. So I haven't said anything to like tarnish the brand type thing. I purely
No,
just
you
said
just
my
what's
experience.
happened. Yeah, which is absolutely fine.
Yeah, but with
Um,
this whole steroids thing, I don't know. Maybe that's in the guys' contracts or whatever.
It was just one that popped into my head when we were speaking just then. I was like, I wonder if she knows. But
Yeah,
I guess at the same time, Gymshark is still a relatively young brand. I mean, it's the first to do what it's done, But it
Yeah.
has been around for literally less than, what, 10 years maybe?
Yeah, no, they're amazing. I've always been so supportive of them. I still support them now and have so much love. Like I have no disrespect for them at all. It's just how it was
Yeah.
handled a little bit. It was sad. You would be
So
sad
it's
about
probably a
it.
learning curve though as well for them.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, like I'm pretty sure I've still got one of their first t-shirts upstairs somewhere. It doesn't
yeah.
fit me anymore because I've put it on a bit of size since
Oh,
like 2015 or whatever it was when I bought it. But yeah,
yeah.
I mean, like I say, they're the first to do what they're doing, and there's obviously going to be a few teething issues along the way, and this seems to be one of them that they potentially have to change in the future.
Yeah, so I mean, they are quite known for handling these issues quite badly, from what I've heard from past teammates that have worked for Gymshark, that have even influencers that have worked for them as well. You know, like I'm not the only one that has spoken about this. I'm probably more open about it online because I think you have to be transparent online.
Yeah.
But you know, brands don't like that. But unfortunately, that's
Well,
just the way it is.
like you were saying before about people commenting on like us as influencers or however you want to brand us,
Yeah,
it's sort of what you sign up for. And if a brand is doing well, they want all the good feedback, but
yeah,
sometimes you're going to come across bad feedback and you've just got to take it on the chin and change that for the future.
yeah. They're like such a big brand that I
Oh, they're
don't.
huge.
Yeah, like that's not gonna that's not gonna tarnish them at all. Like
No.
it's you know there's always going to be a Karen that doesn't like something about them. I guess I'm a bit of a Karen now, but I just overall I think they're a great brand and they do share a great message overall. But I think just like any kind of like fitness brand, they see what works, what fitness trends are, and they
Yeah.
go with that. And things come and go, and that's all like a business type thing. So I can't be too hard on myself because, and initially I did take it quite personally, but they did remind me not to take it so personally. But
Yeah.
I found that very difficult
It
because
always is, isn't it?
yeah, because it's got to do with my work and my
Yeah.
efforts that I've put into this brand that I've loved and really supported, and then to be told something and then kind of been let go, I was like, oh, it's really sad, you know. So
I
that's
can
it.
imagine. That being
Yeah,
said, you do work with other brands, don't you? We both work for MyProtein and we're actually both in the same group chat on WhatsApp.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so how long ago were you working with MyProtein then?
So I've been working with MyProtein now since even 2017 or 2018.
Wow.
So yeah,
A
a very
long
long
time then,
time. I was walking to uni and I got a text. I received a text, a message
yeah.
from MyProtein. I seen a verification tick in my DMs, and I was like, oh. And it was literally just like, would you like to become one of our MyProtein ambassadors? And I didn't know what to say, to be honest, because I was just uni student. And like I was saying at the beginning of our conversation, that I didn't know that influencing was a thing. I think
Yeah.
it was just people posting pickies. So that's what I was doing, and they were obviously interested in my food content in particular at the time, and some gym wear content. And yeah, it's just been boosted since then. I've brought a protein powder out with them, the speculoos one last year, and that was really cool to be able to do that with my vegan. But yeah, I love the team, and they
I
do
was
make
just
you
about to
feel
ask about
lovely.
that.
Yeah,
So so obviously you're on the vegan side of things, aren't you?
yeah.
How did that come about then? How did you come up with making your own protein powder with My Vegan?
Yeah, so it was an idea that was with all of the brand ambassadors, which a few of them no longer work with My Vegan, and I think my flavor won the vote because it was a vote that the public chose
Right.
who would win to create a protein powder. Which ambassador would you like to see create a protein powder? And my one won through my community and stuff like that. And
Nice.
from then, the team picked that up, and I got to go to the HQ, make the protein, and see it being packaged, make stuff with the protein, be photographer like photography and everything towards like marketing and stuff like that, and it was just a really really cool experience.
I can imagine. I've
Yeah,
still not been on one of those warehouse tours or anything like that. I keep seeing everyone get invited to them. I'm still not been on one.
I've literally been 5 times. It's too
I
much.
work not too far away from it as well.
Oh, that's crazy. I'm sure if you reach out they'd be like more than happy. They're a great bunch of people.
Yeah, I'll have to try. But
Yeah,
So I assume that you see this as a long-term career then, because so I assume your main sources of income are from your YouTube and your sponsorships then.
Yeah, so I have many, many streams of income. Gymshark was just one of them, much like MyProtein and MyVegan. I'm not sure if you're aware, but MyProtein and MyVegan, they separated as companies. They still are
Yeah.
THC, but they're technically different companies, hence they have different websites. So I have a different contract with MyProtein, a different contract with MyVegan. Gymshark was once a contract, and they were my steady streams of income each month. And then I had YouTube pay me each month as well for the videos that I was posting through the month via ads, Google AdSense. I also have the TikTok Creator Fund that I get from each video. And
What's
then
that like? Because I've seen a lot of mixed reviews of the TikTok Creator Fund. Apparently, it's not great.
it's not the best.
No.
YouTube definitely pays better, but that's because I upload more on YouTube. I
Right.
kind of have the TikTok creator fund as like pocket money. That's what I call it. If I want a coffee from Starbucks, I don't mind using the creator fund because it's
Right.
like money that is just there. So I just go through my creator fund and then just transfer and stuff. And then I have separate brand deals from uh, different brands each month that my manager organizes for me to have. For
Ah,
example,
okay. Yeah.
Love Raw is the company that I'm working with next. They give me a brief to follow. I create content for them. They double check it, and then I'm able to release it on my page, which it hasn't been released yet. But that's kind of the process of it all.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you see this as a long-term career then, or do you see it as more of a shorter thing that at some point you're going to have to potentially do something different?
Yeah, so content creating is incredible, and I think anyone can do it if you put your mind to it. And it's an amazing job, actually. Like you can earn a living from it, as many people have proven. But in terms of long term, whether people want to watch me when I'm 40 and 50, probably not going to happen. But I don't know what the future holds. So with thinking that in my head, just being logical, I really want to create my own business, and like that would be the end goal. I would love to create my own bar, sorry, much like Misfits, and be their competition, because I think I would really shine in doing that. It's just I would have to get on board with things like talking to investors to be invest in my plan and stuff like that. And I've from a young stage of my influencer journey, I've planned what I would love to create if I was able to sell in stores like Tesco's and Sainsbury's, which would be insane for me, but that is in my mindset and the kind of end goal to all of this, and still build content around that business and people kind of like watch my lifestyle. Yeah.
Okay, so you potentially move away from the sort of fitness content towards your obviously lifestyle and building a brand and then using that to essentially market the brand as well.
Yeah, exactly. Because I have the audience for it, and I'm so like loving of my audience and community. I think they would stick by that as well, and would love to support that, and love me to go through that journey too. I love engaging with my community. I host picnics in London for absolute anyone to come along, and I'm anytime that I meet anyone that follows me, I'm like, it's just such an amazing feeling. I'm so appreciative and respectful of them for just supporting, whether that be a like, a comment, whatever. Like, I just love it so much. And that is always why I've loved being a content creator, the kind of engagement and community aspect to it, talking to people on a daily, talking to people in real life. I used to speak to people in my job role. They'd come in for an x-ray and they knew who I was, and it was crazy. I loved it.
Yeah, it is mad. I think it's only happened to me once, and it was, I'm pretty sure, the first weekend all the pubs opened after lockdown.
Yeah.
And I was on a night out in Liverpool. I'd just been out to watch the football with the lads.
Yeah.
And then I swear it was about 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning. I was going into this club with my mates, and some lad stopped and went, "You're that lad that posts the gym videos on Instagram?" And I was sort of getting dragged into the club by my mate at the same time. I was like, "How the hell do you know who I am?" Like,
Yeah.
it blew my mind because I've only got like 3,500 followers on Instagram,
Well,
but
I
it's such a weird thing.
yeah, you say only, but if you think about 3,000 people, like I can't even comprehend like 111,000 that I have, but
It's like
3,000
bigger than most football stadiums that are following you. Like, it's insane.
Yeah, I just think so. People look at this following and think nothing of it, and you do get like that. You think you want more and more and more because you just that is just the whole game of it
Human
all. Like,
nature.
yeah, you constantly want growth and all that, and I get that, but I don't think that's the focus. I think you should focus on what you have, and it's just really fulfill that because it's amazing. I just like I have been approached quite a few times, to be fair, and it does scare me still. But I love it. Once they say hi, I'm like, oh my God, hello. And I just carry on with the conversation. I think they're shocked that I'm talking too much and then they want to go, but I'm talking too much, so they can't go. But yeah,
I
I
think
had
it is
that.
good though. Like like you were saying, like you can speak to so many different people, and I've had my account for 5 years, 5 and a bit years, slightly shorter than yours, but I've spoke to so many people over the years, and then when you actually get to meet them in person, it's weird but so good. Like at the Gymshark event, I met two people that I've known on Instagram for years, and like one, especially one of the lads, like from pretty much the start, we've never met each other in person, but we just happened to bump into each other at the Gymshark event because he was
Yeah.
working.
I've met a lot of friends from Instagram as well. Like obviously there's people that engage with my content and stuff like that, and I wouldn't say I don't like calling them followers or fans or anything like that. I
No,
think it's a bit lame, you know. Like
yeah,
people are people, and it's nice that they get to enjoy my content, and I love that they enjoy my content. But I have actually made quite close connections with these people that I've met online through Instagram, and I think it's really because you post content, people like it, and they instantly kind of know who you are. And when you meet them in
yeah.
person, you kind of instantly get on with them because you both like the same things and you do the same things. So it's literally like a friendship app. It's great, really. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Like I went to, I don't know if you've seen IFS, the International Fitness Summit.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that. No.
So it's like a big, it's mainly more for like businesses and PTs to go to, but they do some like general motivational talks and stuff. So there was a load of us that I knew that were going in, I think it was 2021 in the summer. So I knew that there was about 15 to 20 of us that were all going, but for some reason they didn't know each other. So I just made
Yeah.
a massive group chat. We were all there and we sort of all met up at this event. And now there's three girls off the back of that. I don't think they knew each other before. Two of them definitely didn't. But now they're all like best mates and I'm pretty sure they're all in Bali at the moment. I saw on.
Oh, I love
It's,
it.
I was like, they've been living with each other and all sorts.
Oh, I love it.
It's such an amazing platform if you use it properly.
100%. And I think that that's nice that yeah, we get people like ourselves that are friendly, you know, because
Yeah.
there's the creeps online and then there's the haters and trolls and stuff, but you do find genuine people that like genuinely look out for others and support others, and I really really love and respect that.
Yeah, definitely. Like I've moved to a new gym recently, and quite a few of them started following me off the back of it because I've started putting quite a lot of content in there. And I actually got a message, I think it was last night, saying, "Oh, I was going to come over and say hello, but I flapped it." And I was like,
Oh,
I'm just a normal person. Like I
they
might
build
look,
it up. They build it
yeah,
up, don't they? Like as if you're a celebrity. And I literally
uh,
just tell them, please, please don't call me that because I cringe and die at it. Because we're not celebrities, are we? There's
not
nothing
even close.
status about us. No, we're just normal people like yourselves. It just so happens that we have a following and
Mm.
people like our content,
And
and you
we've
can see.
just got the confidence to actually put that content out there. That
Yeah,
I was just like, I'm just a normal person. I might look big and scary on my own in the gym, but like, I just put average content out on the internet for people to watch.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. And going back on what you were saying about being confident and posting that, that's what I think restricts a lot of people because my friendship group, a lot of them are from my radiography job, and I've kept close connections with them. They always tell me, "Oh, I could never do what you do, Layla," and it's because they are confident people, but I don't think they're confident to share their life for
Yeah,
because we are all strangers to each other for
yeah,
other strangers to view and judge, you know. But yeah, that confidence and like enjoyment that you get from it is where you go further, because if you see it as that and you just enjoy the process, then you will go far with it type thing. I think a lot of
yeah,
people they get so figured on the number game that it just makes them kind of disheartened if things don't work out.
yeah. I think a lot of people don't post it because not mainly because of confidence. They just don't want to open up to that potential hate that they might get or comments off people.
Yeah.
Like when I first started my account, it was still pretty early days to start fitness accounts, and it wasn't really a thing. So like I used to have my mates taking the mick out of me all the time, like people that I used to go to school with. So I just blocked quite a lot of them to begin with, and now I've unblocked them all because I don't really care. But
Yeah.
it's if you enjoy doing something, then just go do it. Like
100%. Yeah.
who cares what people think? Most of the time, it's because they're too scared to do it themselves. Like
Yeah.
if I'd have stopped my account off all the stick that I used to get, I wouldn't be working with MyProtein. I wouldn't have a fitness account. I wouldn't have a PT business. I
Yeah.
wouldn't have a podcast. So
100%. Yeah.
all those things that I wouldn't have if I'd listened to what other people were saying, oh, like it's stupid. And then nowadays, most people have a fitness account posting their like weight loss journey or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Most people have a second account now to post all that on. So
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes you're just a little bit ahead of the curve.
It's become normalized now, and it's so
Yeah.
saturated, this kind of content creator job role.
Yeah.
It's crazy that I can call it a job role still, but it is, and it's amazing. But yeah, if you let that fear from others kind of overtake your mind, then in anything that you do in life, it will restrict you. Like, for example, my little gymnastics journey that I'm going on now, I've never done gymnastics in my life, not as a girl. I was so unathletic as a child and teenager. And that's kind of what led me to my fitness journey. But with gymnastics, I told my parents back in January this year that I wanted to do gymnastics, and they said to me, "Oh, don't be silly, you're going to hurt yourself." And I was like, "I'm going to show you that I'm going to be the next GB gymnast." Nowhere near there yet.
There's still
But
time, still young.
yeah, 100%. I had a 40-year-old lady go to my adult gymnastics class, and she was doing all the backflips, and she inspired me. I was like, oh my God, like you're 40 years old. There is no age limit on any kind of sport. And she truly did inspire me. I was like, I was so scared that people judge me for starting gymnastics at the age of 25, but you're
Yeah.
here like 40, shining like a star. And I loved it.
No, I
Yeah.
love that. So what's coming up for you then, Layla? What's the plans for the next sort of 6 to 12 months?
Yes. So post Gymshark, I had quite like a confidence letdown. I was kind of telling myself that I was rubbish and worthless and like all these things that, if you get your job and then they make you redundant, or if they kind of fire you, you ask yourselves, am I good enough? And that was kind of like me. I was like, do I have to return back to radiography? I was like, oh, I don't want to, because I still have the degree. I can still go back to it whenever I want, but I'm just too passionate about this lifestyle and this kind of job that I would truly never go back. I just have to fight for what I want to do, and I know everything happens for a reason, and good things will come my way. I kind of just have to manifest that. And like I said, the end goal is to be able to create my kind of own business. Although I am my own business currently, I want to make something out of that. So I don't think it's a short-term job. I don't have any short-term goals for now, but in the long term, I do want to carry on with this. I just have to fight through the boundaries and all the people telling me no, or in my head telling me no type thing. Yeah.
Nice. So when are you sort of looking to start that brand then, with the protein bars and things like that?
Yeah, so my management are actually looking for people to invest in their influencers. So they want to have investors in their management
Okay.
agency. And as soon as that can come about, that will give me the confidence to kind of tell my manager I would like to start, because then they're the investors from my agency. And I know that's very secure, and I know I'll be able to
Yeah.
do something like that. So I had that meeting with her back in February, my manager, and she said that's something that they're looking to do. So hopefully by the end of this year, we can start to look towards to doing that. But I know that I had that opportunity because they are bringing that alongside their agency. But I have no set date or anything like that. I just know that I can be able to do that through that opportunity.
That's good to have that security there, isn't it? So I look forward to seeing that progress over the next couple of months to a year, hopefully. So first of all, thank you very much for coming on and spending the time, especially the second time round.
Yes. No, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was great.
We'll have to get you on again in the future when you've got this protein brand going.
Part 2.
Where can everybody find you?
So you can find me at ABCDFGHIJKLEILA_ on Instagram, and Leila Hannoun, keep it simple, on YouTube and TikTok. So that's where you can find me for all the food, vegan food, and fitness content.
I've got a question to ask. Where did that Instagram tag come from?
Yes. So I started the account and I was like, what can I actually call myself that will make me stand out? And the more I thought about it, I just thought of the alphabet and then my name, and it came about like that. It's quite simple. There's nothing to it really. And whenever I see anyone go ABCD, whatever, and their name, I'm like, I started that. A lot of people actually tell me that they thought I was a bot, like after seeing my name, which is quite funny. And it did actually make me think, oh, I should change my name because maybe that restricts me. Yeah. But I can turn up at an event sometimes and people will call me ABCD and they don't actually know my name is Layla. So yeah, I just kind of stuck with it. I don't think I can change it because now
you can't change it now, no. Like I considered changing mine a few times and I'm like, I just got to stick as that now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
If you are watching on YouTube, make sure you drop it a like. And if you're new, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.